Imagine walking into your kitchen and feeling like eating healthy is the easiest option, not the hardest. Most people struggle with food choices not because they lack willpower, but because their environment makes healthy habits harder than they need to be. In this video, I'll show you how to organize your kitchen to make healthy eating your default. Once your space is set up to support your goals, eating well becomes way less effort. In case you're new here, I'm Dr. Kelly Cosgrove, and I help overwhelmed people build consistent, healthy routines by combining science-backed strategies with home organization. In this video, you'll learn how to set up kitchen zones to make healthy habits easier, ways to make your go-to meals and snacks more accessible, and your less healthful options less tempting, and simple shifts that turn your kitchen into an environment that supports your goals effortlessly. Let me tell you about one of my clients. In an early session, we figured out that a daily smoothie habit would be a great option to help her reach her fruit and veggie goals. We talked through the details, what she'd include in the smoothie, what time of day she'd make it, but in our next coaching session, she admitted that she was struggling to stay consistent. So I asked her about her kitchen setup. It turned out her blender was tucked in the back of a lower cabinet behind other bulky appliances. Every time she wanted to make a smoothie, she had to move a bunch of stuff to dig it out. Plus, her ingredients were scattered across different cabinets and drawers. We worked together to design a smoothie zone in her kitchen. She kept her blender on the counter, which acted as a visual cue, and she put all the smoothie ingredients she used regularly in the cabinet right above her blender. Once she implemented those changes, she started making a smoothie almost every day. She said it was a night and day difference. It might sound simple, because it is, but creating these intentional zones is such an underutilized tool for changing health behaviors in the kitchen. So let's get into your action plan. First, you'll want to start with your goals. Your kitchen should reflect your goals, not someone else's version of what a healthy kitchen looks like. What meals do you want to make more often? What snacks do you want to reach for? What habits are you working on? When you're clear on that, you can start setting your kitchen up to make those habits easier. Next, you'll want to create supportive zones. Think about the habits you're trying to build and create zones that support them. Here are some examples. A smoothie zone, just like we talked about in the previous example. Keep your blender out on the counter. Store your protein powder, chia seeds, and measuring tools in a basket or shelf right above the blender. A food prep zone. Make sure your cutting board, knives, and mixing bowls are all easy to grab. If it's a pain to prep, you won't do it consistently. You could also consider making a tea station. Set up a little area with your kettle, mugs, and a small basket of your favorite teas. If the whole ritual is ready to go, it's much easier to make tea instead of grabbing a soda or another less nourishing option. The goal is to eliminate unnecessary steps and friction, because when healthy habits are easy to do, you're more likely to follow through. Next, you'll want to make healthy choices visible. Your environment cues your behavior. What's easiest to see and grab is what you'll reach for most, especially after a long day. If your cabinets are full of good options but the chips are front and center, guess what you'll go for when you're hungry and tired? Put healthy snacks like nuts, fruit, veggies, and hummus front and center in your kitchen. Move your treats out of view. Keep them in opaque bins on higher shelves behind a cabinet door that you don't open often. And if you want to treat yourself, do it, but make it intentional, not impulsive. I have a big sweet tooth, and I've gone through strict phases before where I've decided to have 0 sweets in the house. But now I focus on being intentional. I keep my treats in a non-see-through bin on the top shelf of a cabinet. So when I decide I really want chocolate, I reach for it with purpose. But it's not something I see every time I open the pantry. That small change helps me stay on track without feeling deprived. This idea of making habits we want to cut back on a little bit harder is really powerful. And it's a strategy called friction design. You want to add a little friction to the habits you're trying to cut back on. Some strategies that I like to use are to move processed snacks out of easy reach and put them in an extra container that you need to open each time you want to reach for them. You can also store indulgent drinks in the bottom produce drawer instead of at eye level in the fridge. Even just a few seconds of added effort can help interrupt a habit loop long enough to give your brain a chance to make a different choice. Another tip is to declutter your kitchen. If your kitchen feels overwhelming or chaotic, it's hard to feel excited about cooking. Take a look at your tools. Do you have 10 spatulas but you can't find the one you like? Do you have to dig through a drawer just to get to your vegetable peeler? Pare things down. Keep only the things that make cooking easier and more enjoyable. Donate the things that you rarely use. Do your best to keep the visible area of your kitchen, especially the counter, free of clutter. A clear, simplified kitchen feels more inviting and makes cooking less stressful. And as you cook, make sure you're tidying as you go. One of the easiest ways to make your kitchen more supportive is to clean as you cook. Leave the space better than you found it. This doesn't mean it has to be perfect. It means wiping the counter while something simmers, tossing scraps into a bin as you go. Make cleanup part of the rhythm of cooking instead of something you dread afterwards. You can also identify your pain points, like a trash can that's too far from the prep area, and fix them to reduce resistance. As you rework your kitchen, consider who else might be impacted. If you live with others, especially kids, set things up so healthy choices are easy for them too. Create snack zones that are within reach and labeled. Let them help with meal prep at a little station where everything's their size. The more empowered your family feels to make healthy choices, the more your environment supports your collective goals. Another strategy that I love is to use the power of mindless snacking for good. This one is simple but so effective. Put healthy, ready-to-eat snacks in a high-traffic area. It could be a bowl of grapes or cherry tomatoes on the counter, a small dish of almonds or trail mix by the coffee machine. Here's what matters. It's in plain sight, it's bite-sized and requires zero effort to eat, and it doesn't leave behind a mess. People grab what's easiest, so make that something that supports your goals. This small shift can have a big ripple effect over time. Another thing that I advocate for is being creative with your space. Don't be afraid to break rules and do what works best for you. For example, I mentioned this before, but I don't use my produce drawers for produce. I think they add too much friction and I'm more likely to forget what's in there. Instead, I store fun beverages like cider or beer in those drawers, so they're out of sight, but I know they're there for those moments that I intentionally want to indulge. Use the spaces that are easiest to access for the things you want to eat more of. If you open your fridge and see grapes and prepped veggies first, you're already on the right track. Now that you know how to organize your kitchen to make healthy eating your default, the next question is, which eating habits should you focus on? I've got a whole video on that topic where I walk you through the top eating habits for better health. Habits that are easy to start and actually make a difference. Check that one out next. I'll link it here on the screen and in the description below.